Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum. Straight talk about you and your money. Now from the BizTalk studios, here is Gary Kaltbaum.
And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It's Monday. It's April 1st, 2024. April Fool's Day, but we don't do anything for April Fool's Day. I don't know why anybody does it, but I guess they're out there doing weird things, whatever, what we can tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, as I have told you on this show, we talk about our lives, our experiences, the things we have gone through personally, professionally. One of those things is I have a 92-year-old dad and a 90-year-old mom. My mom is a rock. My dad is fragile as all heck. I just got back from New York, and it was a very rough weekend in that you can tell when somebody is losing, I don't know if the word's energy, but it's very rough. And I get back to Florida, and he's in the hospital. As of this second, they say his vital signs are great, except the outwardness, just very, anyway, just letting you know, for all I know, he lives to 100. But just wanted to let you know that we are here. If anything happens, or Adam will be around to do the show. I think a lot of you have emailed me about your experiences with your very elderly parents, and I guess how do you put it? This is part of what we go through, and I consider myself fortunate as fortunate can be, 92 and 90, and to this day, they have nobody living with them. They have nobody they take care of themselves. But we got to the point where not so sure that's the wisest move. And we're in the midst of doing some things to work on that. Anyway, I think you know where I am coming from here. But that all said, we have a show to do. My Mets are 0-3, so that's another part of the day that unhappy. But as we told you also, our two favorites in the NCAAs would be, our favorite is Connecticut, our second favorite is Purdue, and they're kind of like the chalk of the two best. We thought they were going to just go a long way, and they're both in the Final Four, and both favored heavily to get into the final game. That'll be this coming weekend. And I got to tell you, both of those teams have a couple of giants that are really taking over. It's going to be, we'll see what happens. And that's why they play the game. We'll see who decides who wins in the Final Four to take you into the finals. Ladies and gentlemen, we pride ourselves here. We really do pride ourselves here in first things first, protecting your capital. And we believe there are moments in time where we have to speak up a little bit louder about protecting your capital. And usually it's at the time where the noise is the loudest. And how do we know the noise is the loudest? Well, we pretty much follow the bouncing ball. As I have told you, we read the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, the local paper. We threw out the USA Today newspaper a while ago because I got tired of opening it up and them telling us we're racist. So I had enough of them. And then we have things that are pushed to us on Twitter, which is now X, whether it's from Axios or The Economist or what have you. We know where to look, where to get our info from, and we're also very careful about who is giving out the info. We know who the shills are. We know who the charlatans are. They've proven themselves throughout a lifetime of being in this business. And what we mean by charlatans are the ones that'll go on TV and tell you about their two great stocks, but not the fact that they've owned Tesla for the last 3 years and are down 55%, but still telling you about that type of crap. That's still out there. And then you got the biased invalids, I call them. So we're just very careful about that. We have an idea of who just is straightforward, straight shooters. We've also given you out some people to follow on Twitter that we think have great eyes. We've had Gil Morales on the show, great eye, and a few others. But we really do believe the most important thing we do for you is protect your capital at the most important times. And those most important times is when things have gone just arse backwards in the markets, where people are paying any price for stupidity. People paying $10 for $1 bills. And in plain sight. And it's not even that hard to figure out. You know, when GameStop did the thing, we'll always tell you we don't know where it ends. But we do know what the ultimate outcome is going to be, because valuation in the end always matters. We did it with some of those Chinese crazy stocks. We did it with Rivian. And we never know if it's going to happen quickly or take some time. We never know if something that's $100 and we think should be $10 goes to $200 first. We really don't know. But again, we know eventuality. And we've had a couple of cases here just in the last week. And we're already getting, a decent amount of contacts from you guys actually thanking us. We're getting thank yous on some things we did just last week. Because we came out on this show and really under no uncertain terms told you what we thought based on specifics, not an opinion. Not, I think it's going to rain tomorrow. But specifics. Oh, this is how many shares are outstanding. This is the price of the stock. Oh, this is their revenues. Oh, and this is their earnings or their losses. Oh, and let's match it up to the real world, and where do you think it can be? So we're going to start out first, and we have to say this. Unfortunately, in this day and age, we got to preface it. Nothing political in these statements, but we warned you about the Trump stock that merged with a SPAC. It's a blind pool, whatever. And we simply told you, well, there's 136 million shares outstanding. I think Trump owns maybe 80 million of them. But there's 136 million shares outstanding. If the stock was $10, it would give it a market cap of $1.36 billion. They don't even have $4 million in revenues in the first 9 months of the year, and they lost $50 million. Now, would you pay $1.36 billion for a company with $4 million in revenues in 9 months and a loss of $50 million? The answer is hell no. But people were buying into it. Hey, Donald Trump, he is loved by, almost half the country and very loved by a lot of people. And somehow it ended up with what was the high on this thing just recently? It hit about $80. And you could just add up 80 times 135.5 billion. It's not hard. 135.5 times 80 equals $10.8 billion market cap. They don't have $4 million in revenues. They lost $50 million. And we just said to you, it's probably a single digit. But we don't know if it's going to go to 200 first or 400. We really don't. But just don't be the last one in. And please recognize it for what it is. And it is your money. Well, it's gone from 80 to 48 and change. It's down another 13 today, $21. It actually hit 45 today, so it was down like 16. And to be clear, I have no idea what the stock's going to do tomorrow. I don't know if they're going to bounce it. I don't know if they're going to send it lower. What I just will repeat again, with 136 million shares outstanding, at $10, and the stock's at 48 right now, at $10 it has a $1.36 billion market cap with less than 4 million in revenues and loses a ton of money. And I must also state this is an opinion now, not just a number. I don't think there's a big growth opportunity because the other half of the country can't stand them. And I don't think that's changing anytime soon. Don't you agree? And certainly he's not trying to win them over either because he keeps ripping people. Up next, we'll put a bow tie on it. A few other names that we mentioned. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
Hi, I'm Gary Kaltbaum, host of the nationally syndicated radio show Investor's Edge. We're not just handsome radio people. We manage investors' money for a living, specializing in fee-based discretionary money management. No big commissions, just a fee on the assets that's managed. We also provide a full range of personalized services, including retirement planning, fixed income, and educational needs, all to assist you in achieving your financial goals. Understanding not all individuals have the same needs, we'll carefully evaluate your personal goals to determine a proper investment strategy. If your current approach to investing is not getting you to where you would like to be, call us to make an appointment for a complimentary portfolio review. The number to call is 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. That's 888-422-5559. Investment advisory services offered through Kaltbaum Capital Management.
It's time to switch on the integrator units and get the brain cells working.
You're listening to
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Investor's Edge
The last bastion of quality programming.
with Gary Kaltbaum.
It doesn't get better than this.
So, let's continue. We had no idea the stock would drop today. We had no idea it would hit 80 and drop to 48 as we speak. We don't know what it's going to do tomorrow, but we do know when you're paying $10 for a $1 bill. How do we know this? Well, we kind of know the markets and just a valuation measure. There are valuation measures you can use. And just so you know, the market doesn't have to be efficient for a time. The market doesn't have to bury a stock right now. And as we said to you, freely say to you, who knows, maybe they'll rally it to 200 tomorrow. Why would we say that? How can they rally it to 200, Gary? You're saying it's not worth, it's worth single digits. Well, because markets can do whatever the hell they want to do in the short run. To us, it's about the eventuality. Eventually, markets will take you where they should go. Eventually, but that can be later down the road. It could be now. And we said on TV, and we'll say it to you again, I will now I got to take that back. I can't promise you anything. The belief is, that's better, just covering myself. As we have always said to you, in bull markets, you can get away with things. In bull markets, you get Teflon. In bull markets, you never know where the next wow going to be. In bull markets, crap can go up. And we're not calling it crap, but you know what I mean when I say that. But in bear markets, the curtains come down, and they will crush anything that loses money or has no sales, and there's a bunch of those things going on. And it just so happened, it's down 22% today, and we'll see where it goes. And all we ask of each and every one of you, just be careful with your money. I don't care what anybody tells you. It is easy to lose money in the stock market. Oh, but Gary, if you just think long term and you hold the S&P 500 and everything be great. Okay, terrific. Terrific. We won't quibble. Just be careful. That's all. Just want you to be careful, because the market is a nasty place to be for stupid. It's a nasty place to be for stupid. And we could go over every meme stock, every stupid that's happened in the last years, where people just bury themselves. So that's number one. And by the way, we hope, what is it called? Trump Media now? We hope their $4 million in revenues go to $1 billion in revenues. We hope it becomes a great, magnificent company. That's our hope. We are addicted to greatness. We love greatness. We want everybody to succeed. Except Joe Biden and his Marxism. Next, then there's the Reddit stock. Less so. We just gave you a little bit of a warning shot. And basically what we said is, we think they're bringing this out too high, and we think the valuation is too high. It was not like, it's got a $10 billion market cap with no sales, $3 million in sales like the Trump. But the thought process was, man, something up here. And it so happened it's gone from 75 to 46 in 4 days. And last I looked, the day it was at 75, they were touting the living crap out of it. Reddit. And I'm thinking to myself, who gives a crap? What, it's Reddit. 75 to 46. Let's add that up. $29 off of 75. That's almost 40% in 4 days, because they brought an initial public offering out at a ridiculous price. And then there's that other one, which we think can go a long way down if nothing changes. What do I mean by that? Well, if they have monstrous earnings and sales growth going forward, you never know. But that Astera Labs, ALAB, they actually have the last 4 quarters, 28, 65, $115 million in revenues. $11 billion market cap. 100 times sales? And they lose money. Now, the little difference with this one is their sales are up 148% year over year. But I wonder about the fact that there's AI in their description and thus the valuation. And then you have to wonder, what if they have a bad quarter? Oh, look out below. So just those three things. Just, we think the most important thing we can do for each and every one of you is to protect your capital. Well, let me put it better. That you protect your capital at the most important times. And I don't think one of my clients would mind, because I'm not naming names. I had a client who wanted to buy Trump stock. And the first day, I tried to explain, but that first day I didn't have the numbers. I just knew where it should be. I had an idea. And that first day, this called when the stock opened at 72 and it hit a low of 62. So he was thankful. The next morning called me up again to buy it at 70, and that's when I gave him out the numbers. That was Thursday. It's 48. That would have been a 30% drop from the morning Thursday to today. And just so you know, I didn't tell him to buy, sell, short, or cover. I just simply and calmly and quietly said, here are the numbers. And I wouldn't be buying from my own account. They made the decision not to. He did. And I'm happy about it. And of course, I gave him a little zing today. I think I wrote him, how about a thank you? Protect your capital. First and foremost. If you're always near your high water mark, especially when we get into those bear markets. And we're going to have another one. Don't know when. Don't know from where. Don't know why. We'll be ready. And of course, what we're watching very closely this second, oil prices going up. The 10-year yield had a really bad day today. Up next, we'll give out those numbers. And whatever else. I'm Gary. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
You're listening to
America is talking.
Investor's Edge.
He's got to be pleased with that. The crowd is just on its feet here. He's a Cinderella boy.
With Gary Kaltbaum.
Comes highly recommended. You're going to feel better if you talk to him.
So, let me be clear. When the 10-year yield goes up, this is not Jay Powell. I know you keep hearing, what's Jay Powell going to do with interest rates? He could take a fly. You got that? It doesn't matter what he does with interest rates. What? All I keep hearing, Jay Powell. I'm the one, we're the ones that were telling you about his money printing causing inflation. We're the ones that said they're nuts when they said it was transitory. We're the ones that said inflation's getting out of hand. We're the ones that were all over it. And we're the ones telling you they don't matter right now. And we've been telling that for a while. They can matter to the markets for a day or two, which they did. But when all is said and done, it is the free market that mattered. Just remember, before Bernanke, who was ground zero, and now Jay Powell, money printing, it was laughed at. And what you need to know what money printing is, this is not money in circulation. This is printing money out of thin air to interfere with free markets. That's what he did. Interfere with the free market, the biggest market in the world, and that's the bond market. And what he did was printed up to $9 trillion and used the excuse of COVID. We needed to do it. No, he didn't. They actually take credit for, the economy coming back. Biden takes the credit for the economy coming back, not the 150 million of us that go back to work. The economy came back not because of Jay Powell. It came back because we opened up. So he money printed. And of course, those who were lucky enough, or smart enough, or whatever you want to call it, now have mortgages at 3% or less. And what's the big distortion right now? Nobody wants to sell. Who would want to sell the 3% mortgage and get a 7%? That's big time difference in money and payments. So they caused the inflation. They didn't get the blame because they're not elected officials. They're selected. And who wants to put down a selected official? Go get the elected. So he's Teflon. But he caused the inflation. Little help from other friends. And now interest rates have normalized. And that's all that happened here. Everybody's saying we've had a bond bear market. No, they've normalized because the moron got out of the way. And now he's at 5.5% with the 10-year yield at 4.329 at the close today. There's a problem. It looks like it's ready to break above the highs of the last 8 weeks. And that may not sound like much to you, but in technical analysis land, that would be a nice little breakout to the upside on the 10-year yield. And why is that so important? Because if yields go higher, it's indicative of something. And all we know is we've been reporting you on a daily basis oil prices higher, gold higher, silver higher, copper higher, cocoa has gone Eiffel Tower. The CRB index of 19 commodities at yearly highs. Commodity inflation. So while they're sitting there talking about, oh, inflation's better, everything's better, and look at these statistics. Commodity inflation. You think it matters? Of course it does. So what if he lowers rates, but the real market, the free market that counts 100 times more than this bozo, goes the other way? Because it sees inflation. Well, if interest rates go higher, that's a problem for the markets. More than likely. Or eventually. And what else is going on right now? Oil prices. So the price at the pump's higher and the price of capital is higher? Let me just state for the record, these are two worries of mine. While coming into this week, the technicals were pretty darn good. While today there was some big news on AI and Microsoft, and today while the Dow took a little bit of a you-know-what today, some of those AI semis that have been dormant woke up a little bit today. But we're getting one little consistent right now, and that's commodities are on the move. And now if I urge every one of you to go look at a one-year chart, a one-year daily chart of the 10-year yield tonight, or a one-year daily chart of the TLT. You'll see the TLT breaking down or right on the verge of it, while the 10-year yield is on the verge of breaking out to the upside. We'll see if it's meaningful, kids. Just letting you know, those are two things we're very much watching. Also very much watching is China. Better. Nothing great, nothing oomphy, but better. We look at the FXI, and it's better. We'll let you know if it gets some oomph. What's getting some oomph right now is gold and oils. Not all the oils, because not all the same. And not all the golds, though gold stocks have finally picked up. Though the metal's still much stronger than the stocks, which it should be the other way. And then the AI semis today. So you had Broadcom up. You had Microsoft on some news, Google on the AI news. You had a little bit of that today. But the Dow was down 240 today. It was down 300. The S&P only down 10 because the NASDAQ was up 17. NASDAQ 100 up 38 because of a few names. Apple and Tesla continue to not find a friend. Transport's down 180. Advanced declines were putrid today. Not a biggest of deal. I've already scanned. I've already screened. There is no chance of a big drop just yet because the technicals are still in pretty decent shape. But if that changes, we'll let you know. But leave no doubt there are some sticking points in here. The software stocks, if you look at the IGV, it's on that little ledge again. Still hanging, but on the ledge. NVIDIA holding the 21-day moving average right here. A couple of times today. That'll be watched, as well as the Philadelphia Semiconductor Index, which did the same today. Held some support. Tomorrow will be another day. I am very interested in how that 10-year yield goes from here. And oils. And other commodities. Copper, gold, silver, palladium, and all kinds of other crap. Wood. The forestry index is at or near highs. They actually have a forestry index. The symbol is wood. Not making that up. So just a little bit today of, first, protect your capital. Second, hey, just letting you know, oils and yields to be watched. But a good day relative-wise, Broadcom, Taiwan Semi, Micron, AMD, Microsoft on some AI news, Google. Google broke out today. Not sure I trust it. I did not buy it. Normally, I would buy a Google on a breakout. Or Alphabet, they call it. I don't know why these companies change their names. I'm still trying to figure out Bloomin' Brands from Outback Steakhouse. The heck's a Bloomin' brand? And Meta from Facebook. Meta? What the hell's a Meta? And didn't they drop Meta already, Facebook? Maybe they'll change it back one day. So a little bit of this and a little bit of that for you. And we're big on theme, so we'll let you know if oil stick more, if gold sticks more. By the way, steel, acting pretty decent. That's a metal. Restaurants, not bad. Shake Shack acts well. Wingstop acts well. Darden doesn't act well. Chipotle tried to get going. As soon as they were added to the S&P, it topped it out. For now. But by the way, they just opened the Chipotle near my home with a drive-through. First one I've ever seen. Smart move. Up next, this, that, and the other thing, and whatever else. This is the one and only Investor's Edge.
You're listening to...
What are we waiting for? Well, what are you waiting for?
1, 2, ready, go.
Action!
Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum.
Hey! Welcome once again to Investor's Edge. More rules, regulations, fees, fines, mandates, taxes from the Marxist in the White House and the Marxist running California. They never stop. I think they go to sleep and wake up wanting to, who can I tax more and who can I control more with rules, regulations, fees, fines, mandates, taxes. $20 mandate for fast food workers. If you have, I believe, is it 60 restaurants in California, which will guarantee from me to you either higher prices or less workers. No franchisee in their right mind, if out of nowhere, let's say you are making me pay another $30,000 this year and get no extra production out of it, there is no way a good businessman's going to say, just give me that colonoscopy. They're going to raise prices, or one or two people are going to be out of there. Oh, but it's only one or two people. You tell that to the one or two people. They think they're doing it for, hey, it's for the workers. It's for the workers. It's for the workers. It's for the workers. I got news for you. The business of the business is business. And you don't have workers without business. And if government that is inefficient, ineffective, and corrupt, and has never run a business, dictates the business, I can pretty much guarantee you it's going to be wrong. It's going to be wrong. It's a big, gigantic lie perpetuated by Marxists, and they're very good at it. Turning businesses into the boogeyman. They're ripping you off. They're screwing you. They're not paying you enough. They're mean. They're cheap. It's a lie. Oh, we're not saying there aren't bad ones. We're not saying there aren't bad people. Of course there are. But on the whole, businesses just want to do well under their own decision making, not somebody else's. And of course, the Marxists in the White House, no, new regulations. Hey, you want a gas car? Up yours. Because by this date, by this time, we're out of here. And why would we give a crap if that electric vehicle, the repairs are triple the normal, or the insurance is a lot more, or the new parts to get for it a lot more, or we don't have enough charging stations? Who gives a crap? We're going to do what we want to do because we're control freaks. Ha ha! So some of that came down today. And of course, it's Monday, right? So $6 billion were added to our debt today. What? $6 billion is added to our debt today? How can that be, Gary? How can that be? Well, it's because if you take 6 times 365, that's $2.19 trillion. That's how much of a deficit we're going to have in the coming year. And by the way, that's probably the low end because the Marxist control freak in chief, on purpose, is taking out the big mallet and hitting you over the head. And of course, they try to get away with it by saying, if you make too much money, you're a tax cheat and we're coming after you. You're bad people and you don't pay enough and you need to pay your fair share. Even though the top 1% pays 50%, the top 10% pays like 80%, you need to pay your fair share. And we're going to take care of the rest of you. You don't have enough? Oh, don't worry. We'll forgive your loans or we'll send you a tax credit. You know, the other big lie from the Marxist control freak in chief. Oh, and do you know that we lowered child poverty? We cut it in half. Not only is he a Marxist control freak in chief, he's a lying Marxist control freak in chief because, as we know, nobody comes off poverty. No child comes off poverty because of a tax credit. They're full of crap. And we know this because we work closely with kids that one could call at risk, that have rough family experience. In the news, Germany. By the way, one of the countries I haven't been to, I went to Berlin once, and I loved it. And the German people were fantastic. So I know I got to do Munich one time. I got to do some other cities. But just letting you know, Germany, which became the biggest European Union country to legalize recreational cannabis. Just letting you know. The first step, adults over 18 are now allowed to carry 25 grams. Isn't that a lot? Isn't that a lot, 25 grams? Germans are now allowed to carry 25 grams of weed, whatever the hell that means. Because let's all get stoned. And in the States, of course, they're legalizing it here and there, while tobacco's bad for you. But marijuana's good. Oh, and cultivate up to 3 marijuana plants at home. In Germany. Government spending, I was mentioning that before. By the way, U.S. government spending past 5 months. On course, well, let me just do on course for $6.7 trillion this year. And he wants to take it to 7.3. And our national debt's going up about $1 trillion every 100 days. Well, wait a minute, isn't that over $3 trillion? Oh, yeah, it is. And I noticed this yesterday, you know, the Sunday political shows, and they have Democrats on there. Some representing the Marxist liar-in-chief. Do you think one of them was asked about what the hell are they doing with our taxpayer and their treasure? Are you insane? Do you think they would ask that question? And I saw Nancy Pelosi had an interview. Do you think she was asked about San Francisco and how bad it's getting? No. So the cesspool of the journalists and the Marxists remains. And that's why in many of these cities ain't getting done. But we'll stay on top of it. You all have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. By the way, if I win the Powerball tonight, $1 billion, have a nice life. And make sure when you do get home, make sure you hug your children. Stay well, be well, everybody. Thanks for joining. Good night.
This has been Investor's Edge with Gary Kaltbaum on BizTalk. To listen to past episodes or to get in contact with Gary, go to GaryK.com. That's GaryK.com.